Lily took the whole family to support her idol at the box office. Hearing a pregnant woman in the row in front say that the idol had ugly eyelids, Lily immediately kicked her, causing her to bleed. The pregnant woman's husband instantly saw red and lunged forward. At that critical moment, my father and stepmother pushed me out to take the blow. I was beaten until my head split open and bled, almost losing my life. But father and stepmother not only didn't call an ambulance for me, but also started a live stream, accusing me of being a blackmailer. I was beaten until I was paralyzed on one side. The 1.8 million yuan compensation was not used for me at all. They took the money to buy cars, buy houses, and move to a new place to live luxuriously. They abandoned me in the countryside in a pigsty, where I was eventually torn apart and eaten alive by hungry pigs. When I opened my eyes, I was back on the day I went to the cinema with Lily. This time, I smiled as I stood up, proactively going to buy the idol-themed popcorn Lily liked. As soon as I sat down in the cinema, a blurry wave of memories washed over me like a tide. It took me a while to suppress all the resentment and pain. I sat near the aisle. My father, stepmother, and Lily sat further inside. The aisle was very narrow. When the altercation happened, the pregnant woman's husband rushed forward. I was attacked from both front and back. The person in front hit me, the person behind pushed. Before I could react, I was struck until my head split open, losing all ability to resist immediately. When I fell to the ground, that red-eyed husband still beat me madly. Most of the audience in the cinema panicked and fled. When the lights came on, I was lying in a pool of blood, dying. Yet my father, stepmother, and Lily, not one of them called an ambulance. Instead, they wailed and opened a live stream, accusing me of fraud. Ultimately, because I missed the best treatment window, I became fully paralyzed. They received the 1.8 million yuan compensation they wanted, but it was never used to care for me. They only saw me as a burden. Eventually, they happily moved to the city, using the money to buy a house and a car, living a life of luxury. As for me, I was thrown into a pigsty in the middle of the night. The pigs had been starved for over 10 days, and I had no strength left to resist. In the end, I was eaten alive. Afterward, they only shed a few crocodile tears, lying to everyone that I was depressed and committed suicide. How could I not hate them? Struggling to suppress my emotions, I glanced at them, then immediately stood up. I had to avoid this tragedy this time, but just as I stood up, my father suddenly pulled me back. "Where are you going?" I lied. "I forgot Lily didn't have her popcorn. I'm going to buy a few boxes of her favorite Idol edition." "Buy what? It's a waste of money. Just watching the movie is enough. You're not going anywhere." He said it with such finality, allowing no room for argument. I couldn't help but frown. This wasn't his usual style. Less than 3 days after my mother's death, he had brought my stepmother home, not caring about my feelings at all. After remarrying, he doted on my stepmother and Lily like princesses. They got whatever they wanted. No matter how unreasonable their requests were, he tried to fulfill them. I, on the other hand, became their wishing well. When they didn't have money for cosmetics, father demanded money from me. When they wanted to travel but lacked funds, he still demanded money from me. Recently, Lily just had a minor scratch, and they feared it was leukemia. They even discussed extracting my bone marrow for testing and transplantation. A few days ago, Lily's Idols movie was released, and father even grandly declared he would take the whole family to see it, fulfilling all her requests. A man who always spent money on them without blinking an eye was now complaining about the cost of popcorn. I stared at him, my father's gaze flitted away, clearly uneasy. My heart sank. Something was wrong. At the 10th minute of the film, my stepsister Lily's idol's terrible acting would cause many viewers to criticize it as awful. The pregnant woman in front only spoke one honest sentence, yet my stepsister kicked the back of her seat. The pregnant woman clutched her belly and fell to the ground, screaming in pain. My stepsister not only didn't feel it was excessive, but also verbally abused her. The pregnant woman's husband immediately saw red, going insane when he saw his wife bleeding. I would become the fish in the pond, caught in the crossfire. The movie was about to begin. I absolutely had to avoid it. I said, "I'm going to the restroom," and immediately stood up. Before my father could react, I walked straight away. I even deliberately wedged my phone into the gap in the seat and turned on video recording. That spot was hard to detect and could perfectly record my stepsister's actions against the pregnant woman later. In my previous life, because the cinema's cameras only filmed wide shots, they didn't capture my stepsister's subtle, sneaky actions. My father and the other two insisted that the pregnant woman simply lost her balance and fell. The husband not only lost his child, but also had to pay over 1.8 million yuan in compensation. Worse, even after my father received the money, they didn't let up, constantly pushing the story on social media, causing the couple to be viciously attacked by netizens. I heard that later, due to the miscarriage and cyberbullying, the pregnant woman suffered severe depression and not long after, jumped off a building to commit suicide. Her husband, unable to save his wife, followed suit. No, not this time. In this life, I will help them record the evidence. You can wreak havoc. Leaving the screening room, I stood outside, counting the minutes, second by second. Finally, it was time for the classic scene. I anxiously pressed my ear to the wall to eavesdrop, but inside, apart from the screen's audio, there was no sign of a fight. I frowned. Why was this life so completely different from the last? First, my father's strange behavior, then the current peace. Could it be a butterfly effect because I was reborn? Thinking this, I suddenly shivered. If I could be reborn, could they be too? Carrying my suspicions, I secretly returned to the screening room, but didn't go back to my old seat. Instead, I took advantage of the screen lighting up in the dark to observe the three of them. I saw that they weren't focused on the movie at all, but were looking around the cinema. Were they looking for me? A chill ran down my spine. What exactly did they want to do? The very next second, the situation became even more terrifying. I saw my father pull out his phone, the screen lit up, and my heart skipped a beat. My phone was still stuck in the seat gap. If they called me, they would discover I was filming. Wouldn't I be exposed then? Right now, I only wanted to avoid them. Facing three people alone wasn't a wise choice. I wasn't sure if they were reborn, but they definitely had ill intentions. Because for all these years, I had never seen them care about me that much. I quickly returned to my seat, taking advantage of the fact that the call hadn't gone through yet. Lily, sitting on my right, looked at me, a cold smile curling her lips, and her leg began to move. I quickly stood up again, my father startled, even grabbing my arm. He didn't want me to leave. Where are you going now? I pointed vaguely at someone I saw outside. I saw an old friend, just going to say hi and I'll be right back. Say hi to what? Just watch the movie, then we'll see. Don't make a fuss. He held my hand very tightly. My heart pounded. The situation was critical. Lily was about to make her move. If I stayed put, the outcome would be the same as in my previous life. I decisively pulled my hand free, not looking back, and walked straight to the front row. Standing in front of the pregnant woman, I asked, "Excuse me, ma'am, could we switch seats for a moment?" Knowing they had ill intentions, I decided to tackle the root cause, helping those two innocent people at the same time. Through their eyes, I saw Lily and my stepmother's expressions change. Lily yelled, "Are you stupid? They're a couple watching a movie together. Why are you interfering?" My stepmother also scolded me for misbehaving, telling me to go back to my seat. I remained calm and told the pregnant woman that her seat was too close to the locked screen, which wasn't good for her eyes. But the pregnant woman and her husband politely refused, citing the inconvenience of moving. In that moment, I felt disheartened. If that's the case, don't blame me. Perhaps this is your fate. I returned to my seat, not knowing if my stepsister suspected my behavior. No sooner had I sat down than she kicked the pregnant woman squarely. I only heard a piercing scream. The pregnant woman clutched her belly and fell to the ground. I reacted extremely quickly, immediately running away. Sure enough, my father tried to grab me but missed. I felt both fortunate and ice-cold inside. My own father, did he really want me to die that badly? Everything happened in a flash. The pregnant woman's husband panicked, frantically holding his wife and asking, "What happened?" The pregnant woman angrily pointed at Lily, weakly saying, "It was her. She kicked me." Lily completely ignored the fact that I had run away. Just like in my previous life, she vehemently argued back. "I didn't kick you. It's because you said my idol's acting was bad. Heaven didn't approve, so it punished you. A vicious and ugly person like you, if you give birth, the child won't even have an anus. Heaven helped you lose your child. You should feel lucky. HMPH. In my previous life, Lily also used these venomous words to provoke the pregnant woman's husband, making him completely lose control. My father and the other two immediately pulled me out to be a scapegoat for Lily. But this time, let's see who takes the fall for her. Sure enough, the pregnant woman's husband's eyes turned red with fury. He grabbed a metal thermos bottle nearby and lunged forward. My father was clever. Knowing there was no scapegoat this time, he hurriedly apologized. Brother, it's all a misunderstanding. I apologize on behalf of my daughter. Really, I'm sorry. Sorry, my ass, get lost. The man swung the hard object directly at my father's head. It was then that Lily and my stepmother realized the person blocking the way wasn't me. Both screamed, "Liam, come here and help, Dad's being beaten." I coldly watched everything, taking out my phone to check if the secretly recorded video was clear. Yes, very clear. The scene of Lily's kick, its force, the pregnant woman's immediate reaction, everything was captured. The screening room began to descend into chaos. Lights came on, and audience members either fled or gathered in a corner to watch the drama. The pregnant woman's husband had gone mad. Seeing he couldn't get past my father, he ran up to the row above, preparing to jump down and attack from behind. Lily and my stepmother turned pale with fear, intending to run around my father to escape. At that moment, my father had already fainted, his fate unknown. "They won't get away that easily," I yelled. "Dad, are you okay?" Then I rushed over, hoisted my father up, and blocked their escape route. "Liam, get out of the way. He's coming. He's coming. Mom, block him for me, hurry." Lee was trapped inside, facing the out-of-control man. Thwack, thwack, thwack. The thermos bottle in his hand was no different from a brick striking Lily's face. "I'll teach you for bullying my wife. I'll teach you for bullying my wife." My stepmother probably wanted to stop him to protect her beloved daughter. But faced with such a gruesome, bloody scene, her legs turned to jelly. She could only watch helplessly as Lily was beaten, blood flowing everywhere, weakening until she no longer moved. My daughter. My daughter. My stepmother crawled to her daughter's body, wailing, her hands trembling as she pulled out her phone, intending to call an ambulance. That scene reminded me of my previous life, being beaten to a bloody pulp, unable to even lift my hand. At that time, I only had one breath left, gathering all my strength to scream, "Dad, save me!" What was the result? While the cinema fell silent after the incident, with only me and the pregnant woman barely breathing, my father, stepmother, and Lily didn't even spare me a glance. They calmly took out their phones and started a live stream, recording close-ups of my bloody face as evidence to accuse me of fraud. All my injuries were due to them deliberately pushing me out to take the beating. Finally, cinema security called the police and an ambulance. Even when the doctors arrived, those three insisted on not letting me go, claiming the matter wasn't clear yet. If the police hadn't intervened, I fear I would have died in that cinema, not surviving long enough to be locked in a pigsty. Yet, in this life, simply because she was her biological daughter, Lily had barely been beaten, and my stepmother was already frantically calling for an ambulance. I called, "Quickly, help her up. The floor is cold." My stepmother sobbed uncontrollably, bending down to help her daughter up as she spoke. A few audience members, seeing this, tried to intervene. An injured person shouldn't be moved carelessly, especially if there's a suspected fracture or it could cause more severe damage. As soon as my stepmother heard this, she started scolding them like a downpour. "You hypocrites, what are you pretending for? If you're so good, why didn't anyone jump out to help us earlier? And this bastard." After scolding them, she turned to me. "Liam, is your heart made of stone? We were beaten so badly and you didn't dare to stop it. You deserve to die, don't you?" "Me, stop it. To be dragged out as your human shield, to be beaten until I'm paralyzed, to be thrown into a pigsty for pigs to eat alive. Stop what? Not turning around and beating you all is already a blessing." My father, that bastard. I don't know how he lived his life to be so lucky. He woke up now. Seeing Lily lying not far away, looking utterly miserable, he was so heartbroken he staggered over. My stepmother emotionally exploded, crying hysterically. "It's all your fault for planning to harm my daughter. The assets haven't." Her sentence was cut short by my father. "Shut up." I keenly sensed that there must be something hidden in this matter. My mother didn't leave behind any valuable assets, only a self-built house in the countryside that my grandmother had left to her. As for my father, it was even less likely for him to have assets unless there was something shady going on. I immediately messaged a friend who knew everything, asking if the old, dilapidated house in the countryside was about to be redeveloped. Then I walked over and asked, "What assets? Lily is still perfectly alive. It's too early to talk about this." My father immediately slapped me. I quickly backed away, dodging it. If I were hit by someone as injured as him, wouldn't I be crippled? My father roared angrily, "Where were you earlier? Why didn't you step in to stop it?" I shrugged, sized him up, and replied, "Stop it, so I could be beaten like you, bastard. I'm telling you, today you've disappointed me to the core. From now on, all the assets in this house belong to your sister. A coward like you doesn't deserve anything." Hearing this, I laughed. What assets? Your old 70 square meter house, half of which belongs to my mother. Even if it really gets redeveloped, how much compensation would it be? I don't even care. Give it all to her, let her take care of you later, I'm debt-free. But a second later, my friend messaged back, your father's house isn't being redeveloped. It won't happen even in 800 years. I frowned. Did I guess wrong? The next message made my eyes almost pop out. But the old house your mother left you is about to be redeveloped. I heard that a mineral deposit was found under that village. The compensation for one household could be over 20 million yuan. You're about to become a millionaire. Remember to treat your friends to a drink. I want Mao Tai. I took a deep, cold breath. It wasn't my father's house, but my house that was being redeveloped. That house was left by my grandfather to my mother. My mother transferred it to my name before she passed away. In my previous life, when I was harmed, I only knew they bought cars and houses, thinking they used my compensation money. I never knew I had such a large redevelopment fund that they were targeting. From now on, the money in this house has nothing to do with you. Even the house in the countryside belongs to your sister. My father's next words directly revealed their goal. At this point, I confirmed they weren't reborn. They simply wanted to kill me to conveniently seize that house. Thinking about the scene of being eaten alive by pigs, covered in blood in my previous life, while my father, stepmother, and Lily lived luxuriously outside, and it was my own biological father who dared to be so cruel. Rage boiled within me. I couldn't hold it in anymore, spun around, and slapped him across the face with a resounding asterisk thwack asterisk. The sound echoed throughout the cinema. I pointed directly at his nose. That house is my private property. Half of the 70 square meter house in the city also belongs to my mother. My father was stunned by the slap. My stepmother had also never seen me, a normally gentle person, erupt so violently. My father immediately used the excuse of old age to threaten me. If you want to divide the assets, you have to support me and your mother. Give us 10,000 yuan every month. Don't regret it. I scoffed. You worked your whole life. Your highest salary for 2 months combined wasn't even 10,000. Now that you're retired, you're demanding 10,000? If you want a wish, go become a monk. My father was so angry his hands trembled. I stared into his eyes and said clearly, if the assets are truly mine, I will pay the standard old age support fees. But if we divide them, I'm sorry, you're only worth half of that. My daughter, my daughter. In the midst of the tension, my stepmother suddenly wailed in despair. My father ran over in a panic, seeing Lily breathing weakly, seemingly on the verge of death. He hastily made a discreet phone call just as the cinema security arrived. I immediately leaned close to my father's ear and said cryptically, "Oh, looking at how injured she is, the treatment costs won't be cheap, will they?" My father had only dialed 12 when he heard this, and his finger froze. Although they truly didn't want to, the truth was laid bare. They decided to seize the moment before the ambulance arrived, opening a live stream as usual, wailing online that the man was a devil for daring to lay hands on a girl like that. The man, now calm, stood frozen, holding his wife. His wife was bleeding, and the fate of their child was unknown. All his previous actions were reactions in a moment of panic, but now he was accused of beating someone to the brink of death. He, too, began to panic, but he didn't know that he was just a pawn in the hands of my father and the other two, merely a tool to harm me. What crime did he commit? However, the people in the live stream room didn't know the truth. What awaited him was a torrent of curses. I sat beside them as if nothing had happened, sending my father a virtual gift on the live stream, increasing its popularity even more. After all, the higher they climbed, the harder they would fall. After about 20 minutes, the police and medical personnel arrived. Initial diagnosis indicated Lily had spinal cord damage and would very likely be paralyzed. My father was terrified when he heard this and immediately yelled, "He hit her! I want him to compensate us. Not 10,000, but 2 million. My stepmother also cried, "My poor daughter, it's all that man's fault for harming her." The pregnant woman's husband hung his head, explaining miserably, "I'm sorry, I hit her too hard, but she kicked my wife first. Doctor, please take my wife to the hospital." My father immediately became enraged. "Nonsense, she clearly fell on her own." It was the same old trick, exploiting the cinema's unclear camera footage to shift all blame onto others. But it's okay, the truth was in my hands. I knew exactly what happened. The doctors certainly prioritized saving lives, so this time my father and stepmother didn't interfere. They just stood there making noise while the doctors took Lily away first. But when it was the pregnant woman's turn to be taken away, my father and stepmother turned hostile, going crazy and refusing to let them save her. They insisted everything had to be clarified first. At that moment, the pregnant woman was still bleeding, her face pale. Her husband held her, anxiously wanting to get into the ambulance. My father rushed over and slapped him. 1.8 million, don't even think about leaving if you don't pay. My stepmother also wildly clawed at his face. He screamed for help. Police, help me. My stepmother decisively played dirty, blocking the police from getting near. The pregnant woman's husband looked at his wife in despair, kneeling on the ground. Please, can I take my wife first? The compensation can be investigated by the police. I won't run, not a single penny will be missing. But my wife is unconscious now, I beg you. My father was still aggressive. Investigate what? It's clearly you're the devil. Seeing both sides locked in a stalemate, I put away my phone and rushed over to pull my father away. He roared, "What are you doing? Taking the side of outsiders?" I didn't say much. I pushed him aside and kicked my stepmother. The pregnant woman's husband quickly picked up his wife and ran out of the cinema. My father and stepmother were furious, even trying to ask the police to deal with me for assault. I just gave a cold laugh. Human life is important. Anyone would have intervened. Even family members are no exception. When dealing with such unreasonable people, you have to kick them. The remaining audience members sitting in the corner watching the drama also started to stir. They said they would take responsibility. You're obstructing saving a life. If something happens, can you bear the consequences? Exactly. I also saw the pregnant woman fall. It's not that simple. Seats in that kind of cinema don't just fall easily. Seeing the disadvantageous situation, my father and stepmother dared not stay. They hurriedly followed the ambulance to the hospital while I returned to my company. As soon as I pulled out my phone, before even settling down, I saw a new notification, my father's phone activity log. I had bought him this phone a few months ago. Knowing I wasn't valued in the family, I secretly installed tracking software on his device. For the first 2 months, I monitored closely and saw nothing unusual. The most frequent searches were for terms like inheritance rights of sons and daughters. I thought it was just about the dilapidated old house and didn't pay attention. But now I realized those keywords hid a huge conspiracy. This time, I paid special attention to checking. The results sent a chill down my spine. The very first search result from last month terrified me. World-class crimes summary, son's redevelopment compensation, does father get a share? How to make someone disappear without anyone knowing? What are omnivores? Do pigs really eat humans? Can a couple doing something small in the cinema be caught on camera? The more I read, the more I sweated profusely. The first search entry was from 20 days ago, meaning for the past 20 days, I had been like prey stalked by hunters. I knew that given the chance, I would have been killed long ago, and it was clearly my own father. When he finished searching, the last phrase about the cinema decided that he would kill me there. Even the seating position, the words to provoke the man, and even the choice of person to strike, it was all a meticulously planned scheme by my father and the other two. I clenched my teeth so hard my jaw almost broke. Was this really my biological father? Before knowing about the redevelopment, he exploited me in every way possible. As soon as he heard the house was about to be compensated, he immediately wanted to kill me. I quickly submitted my resignation. My department head asked why I was quitting when I was doing so well. I calmly said, "My father died, I have to go back to arrange the funeral." Because I knew that passively waiting would be very dangerous. Instead of letting them continue to plan my harm, it was better for me to act first. No sooner had I left the company after resigning than my father called. "Bastard, where are you? Your sister is seriously injured, hospitalized, and you're not coming to visit. Where did you die, huh? Get over here quickly and borrow another 50,000. Do you hear me?" I said coldly. "I don't have money. If you want money, tell that man to compensate you. If it's not enough, tell him to sell his house." In my previous life, my father and stepmother forced that couple to sell their entire house. The two became homeless, but in the end, they still couldn't escape their fate, being attacked by netizens until they committed suicide. No, in this life, I will keep everything under control. After all, I know exactly what will happen at each stage. My father roared. He said he'd only compensate after the police investigation is over. "Your sister is in critical condition, you animal. If you don't have money, borrow it. If you can't borrow, take out a payday loan." I truly didn't understand where he got the courage and audacity to speak to me like that. But anyway, I'll lead him on a little more. "Dad, it's the age of live streams. Just open a live stream and put more pressure on him. Oh, remember to get close-ups of Lily to make her look pathetic. That way, you'll get more sympathy. My father actually believed me. After hanging up, he immediately started a live stream. In the image, my stepmother was crying on the bed, hugging Lily. Lily was covered in tubes, wrapped tightly like a mummy. If it weren't for the monitor, her heart would still be flickering. At first glance, she looked dead. My father, as the main camera operator, started immediately, cursing loudly. That man is mentally ill, his wife is delusional and harms people. She fell on her own and blamed my daughter for kicking her. The live comments immediately flooded with insults against the couple. Some even prepared to dig up their information. I switched to a secondary account and commented a rebuttal. It was immediately deleted. I scoffed, then immediately sent a large gift on the live stream. My comment instantly appeared in color and filled the entire screen. Cinema seats in the back are low, in the front are high. You can even rest your feet. Pregnant women have difficulty moving. How could she fall on her own? Immediately, someone agreed. Exactly, it's not easy to fall like that. My father stammered. It was definitely that woman who deliberately fell. I commented again. You're just guessing, aren't you? The camera didn't even record clearly, so how can you claim it wasn't your daughter who kicked her? Immediately, the online community began to suspect, as if they had found a loophole, and rushed to make videos, analyze, and discuss. My father was furious, kicking me out of the live stream. He thought that was the end of it. He's such a petty person. That live stream had over 100,000 viewers. He was done for. After I was kicked out of the channel, those who were previously hesitant immediately erupted. They were initially undecided, but now they truly began to suspect. If what you say is true, why don't you provide evidence? Clearly, you have a guilty conscience. The atmosphere in the live stream became filled with surging indignation. My father couldn't bear it. He hastily turned off the live stream, then anxiously called me. It's over. They suspect your sister kicked the pregnant woman. I didn't want a live stream. Why did you force me to do it? If you don't clear this up, I'll kill you. I gave a cold laugh. The cinema cameras didn't record it clearly, so just stick to that point. Keep filming your sister lying paralyzed. Don't worry about the comments. After all, the live stream is just to pressure him into paying, right? Before I finished speaking, the doctor's voice came from the other end. May I ask if you moved the young girl after she was injured? Because upon careful examination, we found that the spinal cord damage was caused by movement, not by a direct blow. My stepmother immediately flew into a rage. What nonsense are you talking about? We're not stupid. We know an injured person shouldn't be moved. How could that happen? You know what? My daughter's spinal cord was broken by that man. Can you stop asking stupid questions? Please do your job properly. The doctor, of course, wouldn't let it go. His voice also turned cold. If I asked, it means we have enough evidence to prove that the patient's paralysis was not caused by direct trauma. We have a responsibility to the patient, and we also have a responsibility to the accused. Please adjust your attitude and answer seriously. My stepmother's attitude did become more serious. But the very next second, she turned and blamed it all on me. It was my stepson, I remember now. He bumped into my daughter. Doctor, can I sue him? My father was indeed quick-witted. Just moments ago, he was asking me what to do. Now he immediately turned against me. You animal, so your sister's full-body paralysis was caused by you bumping into her. Go borrow money for me right now. You have to bear all of your sister's lifelong medical expenses. I gave a cold laugh. Go to hell. With that, I hung up decisively. My father and stepmother seemed to have found a point to threaten me. They kept calling, but I didn't answer. Seizing the moment while social media was ablaze with whether the pregnant woman's fall was real or caused by a kick, I uploaded the video of Lily kicking the pregnant woman's seat online. In the dimly lit cinema footage, Lily extended her leg and powerfully kicked the back of the seat in front. The pregnant woman let out a tragic scream, clutching her belly and falling to the ground. Her husband, panicked and enraged, yelled. The camera then shook as I started to run, but the segment where Lily cursed at the pregnant woman was very clear. The video, after being posted, went viral within an hour. Over 1 million views, comments surged every second. All of them were cursing the three of them, accusing them of manipulating public opinion. Now they even dared to exploit other people's pain. Many demanded to track down their identities. My father, of course, had seen the video immediately. He wasn't stupid. He recognized the camera angle and knew I had filmed it. So he called, "You little devil, do you know what you just posted? You'll kill your sister." I laughed. "Is it okay if only your sister dies?" "Liam, what are you saying? I'm your father. Are you trying to harm the whole family? Delete the video. Say it was created by AI, understand?" Now you remember you're my father. When your sister was injured, I was sitting right next to her, yet you still accused me of causing her spinal cord damage. I didn't see anything. I only heard what your mother said. Now you know it wasn't me. Okay, delete it quickly. If the video spreads, we're all done for. I thought for a moment and said, what's there to be afraid of? The spinal cord damage was indeed caused by that man hitting her. As for Lily kicking the pregnant woman, that only caused a miscarriage, not full-body paralysis. Everyone bears their own responsibility. You just need to blame the paralysis on that man, and wouldn't you still profit? What the hell are you talking about? Your sister is paralyzed. If you don't delete the video, are you trying to kill her? Full-body paralysis is no different from death. We don't have money in the house. This is our only chance. As long as you blame all the paralysis on that guy, I guarantee you'll make a few $100,000. The video has already spread. It's too late to delete it. My father was so furious he went mad, cursing me terribly. But in reality, just as I said, what other choice did he have? I had already laid out the path for them, leaving no way to turn back. They had to follow this path to the very end. After the video went viral, the police also obtained new evidence. The situation completely reversed. A post titled, "Young Girl Causes Pregnant Woman's Miscarriage for Criticizing Idol's Bad Acting," climbed to the top of the hot search. Below the article, there was a poll. Do you think the pregnant woman's husband should bear the medical expenses for the girl? Only 38% chose yes, while the rest said no. Everyone thought Lily deserved it. Not only that, the incident affected Lily's idol as well. The idol had to speak out, calling on fans to remain calm and criticizing the girl's extreme behavior. The result was a barrage of comments from netizens. Your acting is really too bad. Retire early before you harm more people. Seeing such results, I was not just satisfied, I was ecstatic. Immediately after, I added fuel to the fire, releasing another video of the pregnant woman's husband kneeling and holding his wife while my father repeatedly slapped him. The video of the pregnant woman being beaten to miscarriage was already a bomb. This video was a nuclear bomb. The hot search page crashed multiple times, and netizens completely exploded. Because in the video, the pregnant woman's husband knelt down, apologized, and said he would take responsibility. Meanwhile, my father and stepmother clearly wanted to take another person's life, preventing the pregnant woman from being rushed to the emergency room, even repeatedly slapping the kneeling man. Those were like knives piercing the fragile hearts of the online community. A wave of identity tracing immediately began. The story of my father marrying a new wife just after my mother died was immediately dug up. He was cursed as immoral. My stepmother was even worse. It turned out she had committed adultery while still married. Everything about my father was dug up, and someone even tagged my stepmother's ex-husband, urging him to sue to reclaim joint marital assets. Lily was exposed for a series of scandals, bullying female classmates. In college, she stole money from her roommate, and later, she was even sponsored by a supermarket owner. The incident spread to all related individuals, especially the supermarket owner. Not long after he was exposed, the supermarket was accused and forced to close. On the verge of bankruptcy, he deserved it for his immoral life. The next day, after being completely exposed by netizens, my stepmother's ex-husband came to the hospital and caused a commotion, then immediately sued her in court to demand a redistribution of marital assets. My father didn't dare leave the hospital, afraid of being beaten, but Lily still needed treatment. He called me again to beg for money. This time, I didn't bother to respond. I hung up and blocked his number completely. Perhaps at his wit's end, my father went live again. This time, he cried, saying he knew nothing about the pregnant woman being kicked, only that he reacted excessively because he saw his daughter beaten so badly. My stepmother also sat crying beside him, saying Lily had been punished enough, but the miscarriage and full-body paralysis were disproportionate. They would continue to pursue justice, demanding the man take responsibility. Immediately after, social media surged again. Although most people supported not compensating, there are laws of the land and rules of the household. Many lawyers came forward to analyze, suggesting that, given the current situation, the best outcome would be for both sides to compensate each other. My father would compensate the pregnant woman, and the man would compensate Lily. But the compensation amounts for both sides were clearly too disparate. Netizens couldn't stand it, deeming it a legal loophole and injustice. A large account responded, "Suppose you are walking on the street and accidentally hit a pregnant woman, causing her to miscarry. Then her husband beats you to death. The court declares that her husband acted excessively and bears partial responsibility. At that point, would you still find the law unjust? Although this argument had merit, extreme netizens continued their attacks. I sat and watched everything unfold with great satisfaction. At the climax, I uploaded the video of my stepmother lifting Lily onto the internet, while also tagging the doctors at the central hospital, asking if this could have been the cause of secondary injury. The central hospital was already grappling with this issue. Although they had equipment to confirm it was a secondary injury, my father and stepmother refused to admit it, instead blaming me. Later, when the situation spiraled out of control, they changed their story, insisting it was still the man who hit her. With such tense public opinion, the hospital was under immense pressure. My video was nothing short of a timely rescue for them. The hospital immediately responded, "Thank you for providing evidence, and we confirm this is one of the causes leading to the patient's spinal cord damage." A series of videos released consecutively pushed the entire incident to its peak. The police were forced to reopen the investigation, and at this moment, I unleashed my final move, my father's phone activity log. Every search query about how to kill someone, every suspicious activity was made public, once again dominating the hot search charts, with the prominent title, "The truth behind the girl causing a pregnant woman's miscarriage might be intentional." My father searched too much about killing, especially investigating the cinema's camera system. This made people unable to not suspect. Was this a pre-planned scheme? Combined with the recent wave of public opinion, the police immediately brought my father in for questioning. At the station, faced with a string of incriminating evidence, my father panicked, but still tried to remain silent, refusing to confess, until the police announced that Lily had woken up and confessed everything. My father, after days of pressure and being attacked by netizens, finally completely collapsed. He cried nonstop, as if all his grievances and fears burst forth. "My son owns an old house that's about to be compensated more than 20 million yuan. My wife told me to find a way to seize it. We discussed it, just arrest me. I can't take it anymore. I don't even dare to leave the house. People curse and threaten me all day." My father fell into the trap, confessing the entire truth. My stepmother was also arrested at the hospital, taken away in a state of confusion. Only when she arrived at the detention center did she realize my father had spilled everything. She was so furious she wanted to tear him apart, but being a bird in a cage, she didn't even dare to scream. I heard the only thing she was still worried about was Lily. The police once asked me if I was willing to take care of her. I shook my head like a rattle. Caring for one's parents is filial piety, but caring for someone not of my blood, not in my household, who even tried to kill me, I'm not that foolish. The result was that Lily didn't make it. She died. The reason was that when I visited her in the hospital, I told her about my father's and stepmother's fate and advised her to wake up to go to prison soon and reunite with them. Unexpectedly, the monitor immediately beeped. The doctors rushed to save her, but it was too late. The person died, but the case continued. Although the evidence was very clear that Lily and my stepmother brought trouble upon themselves, and Lily's paralysis was due to my stepmother moving her on her own, my stepmother had to bear 50% of the responsibility. But ultimately, the pregnant woman's husband had acted too violently. The responsibility for causing severe injury could not be avoided. Because my father and stepmother refused to sign a settlement, the man was sentenced to 2 years in prison and fined 100,000 yuan. My father and stepmother, however, did not get off so lightly. They were charged with extortion, slander, and attempted murder. They were sentenced to 10 years and 2 months in prison. They'll probably be crippled when they get out. After everything settled down, I immediately returned to the countryside to complete the procedures for the redevelopment of the old house. At this time, my stepmother's ex-husband came looking for money, saying that after the divorce, she cheated him out of 100,000 yuan and demanded I pay it back because a divorce during adultery meant she got nothing. I sneered, "What do you have to do with me? Wait until she gets out of prison, then go demand it back." With that, I turned and left. Afterward, I withdrew 200,000 yuan and gave it to the pregnant woman who suffered the miscarriage to fulfill the judgment. The rest was for her living expenses, enough for 2 years. After all, they were implicated because of me. Before leaving, I told her, "Live well. If you can, try becoming an online influencer. The whole internet supports you too." Not long after, the redevelopment money, over 20 million yuan, was transferred. I took over 10 million, deciding to move to another city to live.